Allora, siamo all'ultimo giorno di Lucca Comics e per chiudere tutto quanto in bellezza siamo qui oggi con Ken Niimura. Hi Ken,
Hey,
how are you?
Great, thank you.
Yeah?
How are you?
Are you happy to be here, to be there
Yes.
again? Yeah?
It's been 7 years. So
Yeah, 7 years.
Great
So-
being back.
And what brought you back here?
Well, there's been like the re-release of like a Giants. At the same time, the movie I think came out through Netflix.
Yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
So I came just to like do this.
And then you were saying that you needed to eat really
Real
good Italian food. Yeah.
Exactly. It's been 7 years of not very good Italian food.
So, as you said, 7 years ago you have been in Italy to promote the first edition of IT Giants, and then Bow Publishing just published the new one. So, just because the film is come to Netflix also in Italy, so introduce it to our readers.
Oh, the story.
The story, yeah.
Oh, great. So, IT Giants, it's the story of Barbara, who's like a 12-year-old girl who, in her head, thinks she has to like fight some giants, and she like prepares to defeat them. Although on the during the story, we're gonna find out that there's some other reasons for that to be the way it is. And so it's gonna be spoiler free because it's a story.
And in my opinion, it's a really intense and emotional story. So, how did you and Joe Kelly, who is the writer of the story, come to create it?
Well, I met Joe long time ago. I was in a convention where I was doing a signing session for a book I put out back in the day, and he was like sitting next to me, and he's very nice. So we were just like chatting, and we kept in touch. And yeah, like one day he just told me like he had this script and told me what he thought I was like interested in doing it. So, which was like, I don't know, like a very unexpected thing, because like I was like a total newcomer. I mean, I had done like short stories, but never anything long, nothing in the US either.
Yeah.
So because I was in Spain, so I was really lucky that I was able to work with him.
And is there something personal in this book, something coming maybe from your experience?
Oh, sure. Well, on the one hand, like Joe wrote this at first because his dad was ill. I forgot the illness, and so he wrote the story while he was like going with him to the hospital and everything. So
So Joe was ill.
No, his dad.
His
sorry.
dad, okay.
So already, it's pretty related to part of the story, and but for myself, as for many people that probably have read the book, I've gone through obviously like people around me like it's spoiler free. But yes, it's related with
We're gonna be
yes personal experiences, and for sure, yeah, like I put how to say, like, even though Joe's from the States and I'm not American, but there are lots of like experiences that are very common to like everyone, so I could probably connect with that part of the story. Yeah.
And another feature that is really important in my opinion in the book is that every main character are female, very strong female characters. So I'm asking you if there are some strong female in your life that influenced you in the creating of the book.
Oh yeah, well listen, like so my mom's Spanish, and I've grown up in Spain, and I have the impression that it's pretty that's similar maybe to like Italian, but women are pretty strong in Spain, so I just had to look around me, and it's all over the place. So yeah, of course, from relatives to like friends and everything,
Yeah, and talking about the movie. Did you contribute to the project? What have you done to the movie?
Well, at the beginning, I think they asked me whether if I wanted to be involved, and because Joe Kelly, the writer, wrote the script for that one, for the movie too. But on the one hand, it's a live action movie, and I was like, I just know how to draw, and if every time they ask me for my opinion on something, I'm like, actually, it's like it's just not gonna help the project. So I was like, don't, if you want me to or something, just let me know. If not, just go on and work on that freely. And then, but on top of that, like Joe is he's really nice, and he was like involved in production. So for a while, he was keeping me updated on like every small thing that was happening. Which on the other hand, from the very beginning, he told me like, if I feel like movies are or audiovisual projects, they take a lot of time. There are tons of chances that something happens and they don't materialize. So it was like, I'm gonna keep you telling you what's going on, but just don't get too excited because it could not happen at any given point. So it was like, it's been an option, and I was like, I was so happy. I was like, no, don't be too happy, just in case. And at one point, they started talking about the cast, and he was like, actually, I'm not gonna say names, but we've shown it to like this actress, and they're considering it, and that would mean like I was like for 2 days like I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh my god, like, this actress. And then like a week after it was like, no, actually she turned it down. I'm not sorry. And then like 2 days of like, this is horrible. And it happened several times. And then one day I told him like, listen, like just let me know when it's certain, 100%, because I just can't, like my life, it's like a nightmare, I'm like with these ups and downs. So I was like totally removed from the movie, and I was like, if it happens, it's gonna be amazing, and if not, at least I'll be able to sleep during the night. And so Joe and I, we also went to see the movie set when they were shooting it, and even then I think Joe was like, well, this is going in a good direction, but like don't be
too much enthusiastic.
Exactly, like let's enjoy it. It's gonna be great, but just in case. So the only one time when I was like, oh, there's actually a movie happening, it was like at the premiere, and that was in the Toronto Film Festival last year. And so we went to watch a movie, and Simon was like, oh, okay, so there's, okay, fuck, they've made a movie out of our comic. But until then, I was like, you never know, if it's gonna happen. And that was a really nice experience, like watching it already in a movie festival, which is not at all my environment. So I was like being a fanboy, and then with all the cast and everything. So for me personally, I mean, of course, it's very, very exciting that for something I've been part of has become has led to a movie, and especially something that it's done with so many people. It's just basically Joe and I, and it's we work at home. It's very simple, and that suddenly becomes something where you have hundreds of people involved, and it's such another totally different thing. So in that sense, I would say it's so much more that you could just expect when you're actually drawing. So the movie itself I love, and my personal experience just what I've been able to see through that is like, well, I'm a lucky guy.
And how did you felt when you saw the movie for the first time, to see your pages taking shape?
That was incredible. We already had that astonishment when we went to see the movie set, and we were lucky. They were shooting fun scenes, no spoiler, so I don't know which scenes they are, but cool scenes. And the thing with comics is that because when you draw them, you're the only one, so all the acting of the characters and everything, it's pretty much like what you can imagine in your head. So yeah, I think, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for many comic artists, like their characters probably moving away in a similar way to themselves. So suddenly when you see an actress like retaking that action, those lines, and just like adding their own experience to them and their perspective, which sometimes is very, very different from mine. Or I remember like talking with the main actress, Madison, and she was like asking us questions, and she was like, no, I was thinking about like doing this scene in this way because I'm imagining that this is what she's thinking, and I was like, oh wow, I've never thought of that. But of course, when you have so many people reconsidering things, of course, it leads to something so much bigger. So in that sense, yeah, like just something that I would say it's just based on my one specific experience, being able to translate it through so many other people's eyes in a way. Oh, that's pretty impressive. So
you interacted with the cast, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Yes?
That was really, really, really fun. I'm a fanboy, so it's like I take off my author mask, yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm geeking out. So yeah. And
fun. The book and the movie are really similar. Are you okay with that? Do you like to change something? Do you like to see something different?
Listen, the movie, I love it the way it is. And
Me too.
the funny thing is that, it came out of, the script was done after the comic was made. So they added new scenes. And some of them, they happen in the woods. And I was like, oh, fuck, these are such cool scenes. Like, I wanted them for myself. And on the other hand, they had like many, certain things, certain like fancy elements, like the fairies and stuff, that they had to take, because like they work in a comic fantasy world, but when the moment you put them on the screen, they feel slightly fake, I think. So I'm certainly fine with those choices, but honestly, like if they had something like, if we have like some new scenes for the comic, I would have been so happy.
And talking about our modern society, which is, in your opinion, the most powerful, the most dangerous titans we have to face, and why, in your opinion?
Well, it's pretty much related to the comics core idea, but it's probably like fear in many ways. In the comics, like one specific type of fear, but when you look around and especially look at the news, and it's fear, which is like mistrust, which is like maybe translate something into like discrimination or the inequality. So like especially having been, you sometimes really fear. You do fear people, or you fear things and act in a specific way because of that, and then you are sometimes in the receiving end of other people, like fears, preconceptions, etc. So that's one thing, and I think like as an artist, whenever if regardless of like culture, whatever, if I know that somebody likes something I like, be it music or a movie or comic, I'm like that. There's this instant connection, which is like, okay, if we agree on this thing, we can be friends. And so there's certainly one thing that each book for sure has specific meaning and content, but when you put it out, you're basically just saying like, me, if I were in this specific context that I've put on the paper, I would maybe feel this way, and then you're basically just like throwing it out in the world and asking like, how about you, basically. And then you might or you might not agree, but there's already like a conversation going on. So I like for sure like reading comics that make me relate to other people, and part of the beauty of creative work is just being able to make something that might connect other people, and therefore have in a way like less fear in the world. And
as you said, you like to read, obviously. And which are your main readings? The things that you like the most to read? Talking about comics and of course about books.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like lately I haven't read much. So, but let's talk about like past. Oh well, if it comes to comics or influences, like one for sure, and that's been like for a long time, like it's Miyazaki, but it's mainly movie. But that's one's been there for since I was a kid. So it's not even like rational. It's just in my blood and everything. And the other people I like, and they're mainly art illustrators, I would say. People like, I don't know, like Quentin Blake or Sempe, it's a French artist. For instance, another like when it comes to like novels, one that always like comes up in my head. I like it. I'm not influenced by that. I mean, I don't think I can make anything as good as what he does in any way. But there's this writer he's called Kazuo Ishiguro. And he's like Japanese. Well, he's Japanese, but British.
Floating World.
Yeah, and he has another like that's called Never Let Me Go, or the latest one that's the Buried Giant, or the Remains of the Day. I don't know. There's something about those books that's overwhelming. And you know, he puts out one book every 10 years. You know, he has maybe, I don't know, 6-7 books, you know, but there's something in there that's, I don't know, just blows my mind.
And what about Italian comics?
Poof. Oh my god. So exactly, I've been in Lucca, and I've been already doing my Fanboy, and I'm ready to do something. But I mean, Italian comics is just like, it's just like obscene how many good artists there are in here. I mean, like some of them, you know, pass away. I think so, like Sergio Topi or Lino Battaglia. But you know, when it comes to like younger, not younger, but like people that are alive, one that I've heard that's here, but I haven't been able to say hi until my Fanboy is Corrado Roy.
Yeah.
I love his work, but I don't even know what he looks like. And the other one I'm gonna try to go and say hi is Manuel Fior. Very good, and so many others that I'm still like discovering here, because like where I live, we don't have that many translations out there. But like every time I come here, it's incredible. Like, you know, for compared to, I don't know, maybe the States, you know, in terms of like size, you know, the amount of like talented people, and you know, it's such a interesting market, you know, where you have so many comics from all over the world. And you know, I'm really jealous, because like you have a very good sample of what's going on everywhere in the world, and and that translates also in like what people are doing here, which you totally see it's pretty much informed by, you know, everything that's going on. So you know, it's a pretty like creative cycle. So
thanks Ken, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. We wish you a good ending of Lucca, and we hope to see you soon again in Italy.
Yes,
thanks a lot.
See you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Vi ringraziamo e noi ci vediamo l'anno prossimo a Lucca Comics o ai prossimi video. Ciao!
Ciao.